Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good evening and welcome to Japan, the land of the rising sun. We are here this evening for the Evolution Sim Racing Ferrari GT3 race. We're looking forward to what should be an exciting start to an exciting league. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Find out who the big boys are, who the little boys are, who's going to be challenging, and what's going to happen here is going to set the tone for the rest of the season. It's an exciting track, this Okayama. I've been doing a little bit of racing here myself today just to get a feel for the car and the conditions, and I have to say it is a lot of fun, this combo. Absolutely brilliant setup for this, and looking forward to a great one. It's Dean Biggles and Stephen Karabelas, if I can say my own name correctly. Jesus. On the mic this evening, I'm looking forward to this. What are you, Dean?
Yes, I am. Absolutely. It's a promo race, of course, for this brand new broadcasting for the Evolution Sim Racing. Of course, and hello out there into the chat there. Martin said, guys, unfortunately, he can't essentially has an attack on both his ankles, so he can't even walk, and he doesn't want to be an obstacle on track. So good luck to everybody. Good luck to you recovering well there, Martin. Hopefully you'll be on track soon. And Alex out there, good evening, guys. Have a good race. And Martin's sitting on his couch with his headset on, so He doesn't annoy the missus. Well, qualifying session is well underway. We have, just to explain real quickly, we've got some league details, so I'll throw that up on the screen because we've got 7 minutes left of qualifying. If you'd like to go over that with us there, Stephen.
Yeah, no problem. Looking like, so, to start off at the top, we're looking with an all assists off, except for the clutch. That means no racing line for anybody here, just to make sure there's an equal level playing field for everybody. We've got no damage in these races, which is going to make things interesting. It means that if you do get punted off into the wall or end up in a big smash, then you can still compete and finish the race out, as well as a post-race protest system, which is rather intriguing, and some interesting penalties that can be applied after the race, including docking of championship points. But we'll go into that in more detail as we go through the championship in the coming weeks. 14 points for a drive-through penalty and 20 for a point for a disqualification, which is lower than usual. Everybody will be using a fixed setup for this, provided by the league as well, and be setting up in a nice double format for the majority of the races, with the exception of one, I believe, which will be Spa further down the line, which will be a full race. We're going to have 2 races each evening. Race one will just be a 20-minute sprint. Not likely to be a fuel pit stop, but I believe tonight we are running less fuel, so there may well be a fuel pit stop there, as then get on with a 30-minute open qualifying race. But that's going to be the top 15 having a reverse grid. But there will be a fuel stop needed in that second race, so there's going to be lots of entertainment here. And with these short style races, Dean, you tend to find a lot more action. You not agree? People are much eager to get on with things as in these shorter ones.
Absolutely, I love the old top 15 reverse grid, or in a reverse grid with a fuel shop stop that should be needed. And of course, driver trophies get personalised drivers' trophies at the end of the season for the top 5 drivers in each class and the 2 winning team drivers. So absolutely fantastic. The teams and all that information we're going to get to you after the very first round. This is just our promo round. Won't count towards the championship. However, it'll give you a preview on it of what's to come. Go back down to the final moments there of the qualifying session with 5 minutes and change to go. So to elaborate to everybody, the pro classes are the green that you'll see on the timing tower, and the AM classes, the orange. It's also determined by their rating.
Yeah, the less said about that red guy, that idiot at the bottom there, the better. That is, in fact, me. Stupidly joined the session and now I'm stuck out of it. But you live and you learn, and we'll not make that mistake again. But we've got Cowler Shaw currently leading the charts at the moment by 3.5 tenths. So quite rapid. With a few men to get down into the 28, which is unbelievably quick around here. I was lapping in the high 29s on race pace or quali pace. I imagine a low 29 is fairly decent for myself, but these guys look rapid already and fairly tight in this qualifying, especially with a couple of the AM drivers beating a couple of pros at the moment. Drivers number 19 Trustwell and number 57 Parkinson currently going very well.
It's going to be interesting to see how it's definitely going to all pan out exactly with a couple of the AM classes. Mixing up with the big boys, but then again, it is qualifying session. But it is. We're going to be missing some of the drivers, as mentioned there from James, with the league administrators. That it's a bit busy times at the moment, but they're going to get, obviously being a promo race, people feel, okay, I can skip a promo race if I have something more urgent to do. But come next week, we will be at the birthplace of motor racing, essentially, isn't it? We'll go over to Silverstone.
Yeah, fantastic track that I've been racing a lot this week in the Formula B in iRacing as well. But it's Okayama this evening, and what a fantastic track this is for this car as well. Very high downforce, this setup as well, so it's very stable and easy to control, and you can definitely get a bit of a slide on, particularly out of Atwood Curve, especially where the undulation of the track is a bit of a nightmare there. It's very easy to lose the back end, but very easy to catch it again with this setup, got to say. But brilliant track this Okayama. Opened in 1990. It used to host Formula 1 races here, believe it or not, as short a track as it is. Really? And the fastest time here is a 1:10 by Ayrton Senna, set back in 1994 in the Williams, the FW16. And yeah, Schumacher won both F1 races here. GT lap round was held by the very Ferrari that we're looking on our screens at now, by Kai Cotolino. He set it in 2022 with a 1:29.723 race pace, of course. Obviously, we can see here that Couture has already beaten that by almost a second. That's qualifying pace. Different thing altogether.
You want to give us a hot lap there? I know that you've have been driven around this track. Well, at the moment on board with Carl. About to start another hot lap. Hopefully a hot lap there. Carl's not aware of it or not, but Carl, please do. So Stephen can give us a hot lap around this track and explain how difficult it is to drive. How much fun too.
It's a great track. You've got to brake just at the 100 metre board into turn 1. To brake it a little earlier than you feel you have to, so you can carry more speed on the exit than the entry. Get over to the left-hand side, braking at the Marshall Tower on the left-hand side, and then you've got to take a wide entry. He misses the apex there, but you've got to take a wide entry, get on the throttle early in that left-hander Williams. Down now into outward curve, braking just between the 50 and the 100 metre board, and get down all the way to first gear, get a nice tight exit, hitting the very, very late apex as he hits there, and lets it run out wide. Sometimes people go for a tighter line all the way around, but letting it run out is just as viable. Down now, faster straight, and the hardest braking zone now, at the 100 metre board. You want to get down all the way to first for the very slow right-hand hairpin, and then you shotgun round to revolver, where you just get it over to the right-hand side. Little dab on the brakes, chuck it in, get the camber on the inside of that curve there. Now, this one here, you've got to float it in here, and taking that all wrong, taking too much curve on the inside there. You've got to float that one in, take a late apex, but now 50 metre board is your braking point here, down into first gear. Keep a tight line so you can set up the penultimate corner. Very, very patient corner this. You've got to be very late on the throttle and take a nice tight line. He gets very squirrely on the outside there and gives it up in the end, but it's flat. Just a little lift around this next right-hander, and then it's a slight dab on the brakes for the final corner. That final corner, very, very important to get that right in the race. It's one of the best places that you can set up an overtake down in turn 1.
There you go. Get another shot here from on board. At the moment,
so this is
James.
Picking up where we left off, just a little lift and then just a slight dab on the brakes. Take a late apex here in this final corner and get on the throttle very early to get a nice run all the way down to turn 1. And now this is where they're going to see the majority of the overtakes is down here into turn 1. To get the inside is very powerful, but can hang it around the outside through turn 1 and get the inside for the next corner. If you've got the inside for Williams, that is where all the grip is. So if you hang it around the outside in turn 1 and stay there for this corner, definitely fight it back. But it is definitely single file through the Moss S's here. Very hard to go side by side through there. An incident prone area. Also possibility to make a dive down the inside and outward curve as well, but that's a risky maneuver. And here we see how easy it is to lose the back end at the exit to Atwood. And there he goes off into the barrier. That's not what he wanted at all. But Conishaw still looking pretty at the top of the timer boards with only 5 seconds of qualifying remaining. Looks like he's going to take pole in the very first race here in Evolution Sim Racing, the promo race. Not going to count towards the championship, but still good idea to set an early marker, win the psychological battle of wills in the very first go. So here we have our starting grid then. We've got Cowlishaw, not entirely sure how to pronounce his name, but Cowlishaw is how I'm going to pronounce it from now. Handwork is P2, we've got Thomas in P3, followed by Jenkins making up the second row of the grid, Parkinson in P5, Mitchell P6, Covert P7, Trustwell P8, P9 belongs to Flutie, and Reiser in P10, Clark in P11, and then we've got British Irish Mukian in P10. Next, we've got Gareth Newton in P13, Graham Matthew in P14, Stephen Donnelly 15th, and Robin Aston in 16th, Wesley Van Rens in 17th, Dave Clark in 18th, and Adrian Hadfield in 19th, followed by Matthew Jones in P20. We've got Craig Charles of Red Dwarf fame in P21, number 97 car. I've got number 88, Danny Stewart in P22, followed by myself in P23 and Scott Kostrick in P24. Of course, myself, Steve Krampus there, will not be taking part in the race. That is our grid for our promo race, and we've got 20 minutes of a sprint race to go here. And looks like a couple of people still not made it to the grid yet. P2 and P5, I believe, still waiting to make their way. There's P2 popping in now. But this should be exciting. I wonder how elbows out people are going to be with this being a 20-minute sprint race. But yeah, the front 15 as well. Also going to be reversed for this second one. But we have our lights, and we are getting ready to get underway for the first race of the season. 5 lights. Let's see who can get a good start. It's away we go. And it looks like a very good start from P3. Particularly, he's going to take both of them. What a start that is from Thomas. He gets both of them. He get a good start from Hardwick as well. And Conishaw is down to P3 already going into turn 1. And he's going to lose another one on the inside there as well as Jenkins gets himself up into P2. What a start here we have at Okayama. That was a fantastic start from Thomas. jumps 2 positions, and we're going to have more battling here into the outward curve. We've got a driver off in the background. It's Mukian who's dropping down the order, and there goes a big crash there, and he's off the grass, onto the grass, spears back onto the track, and that is handwork, and Jenkins out of the race in early doors. No damage, of course. He'll be able to get back into this. But what a start, what drama, and it looks like Thomas is just gone. He has disappeared down the track at the moment. He is a long way ahead of everybody else. And yeah, got a couple of blinkers in the background there, but it looks like it's gone down to single file, and it's all calmed down a little bit. But Colishaw is not happy about losing his pole position, and he is biting at the biting at the bit at Mitchell there. Wants to get his place back. Yeah, he knows he's got the pace here. He just didn't get a good start off the line, and that caused all sorts of problems for people behind. You've got to say. The red Ferrari there in the background, going a bit wide, but he's onto his position for now. Tight line into the third last corner there of Hobbs. Now, so all settled down a bit. 1.8 seconds the gap from Thomas, and he has disappeared with this, and he's not looking back. Colishaw still looking at the back of Mitchell. Is he going to make the move into turn 1? We've got another battle behind between Parkinson and Reiser as well. Looks as though Reiser's going to go for the late lunge, but doesn't make it stick. Just manages to cover that off. The Sky liveried Parkinson there, as now we get through to a section of the track that's going to be more difficult to overtake, but maybe have a look into outward curve. Has got a car off there in the background. What a livery that is. That's enough to give you a headache. What a rejoin as well. It's done that very nicely, safely. He managed to save that brilliantly, you've got to say. Thought he was all out of control there, and he manages to bring it back on track, and doesn't take too much of it. There's a little bit of a contact there. That could be dangerous as they all head into outward curve, and there he goes again. Bit bad tyres, overheated tyres maybe. Couldn't get the grip in outward, and eventually Covert, I think it was Kostrich, sorry, goes off in the end. He managed to hold on to it for so long, but count 4, the tyres being a bit ruined there, I believe. What action we've got. It's all over the grid here.
Yes, we do. Let's see if we go back in a second and look at the race start, but we'll just wait to see how this battle's going to brew first, because I have a little bit of feeling, Stephen, if we do look away from this, we're going to miss some of the action, but of course we do have it all in the highlights of the replays that we'll be able to bring out when we get time. We do have time, of course. This is race 1, 17 minutes to go, and then we get our reverse grid for... Hope you're enjoying yourself out there, Alex, Martin, and everybody else that's watching. Hope you're sitting on the edge of your couch right now with some of the action you saw. But further up, it's Paul and Gary and Gaza. They're going for it. And as you said, down to turn 1, but overtaking opportunities.
Does it nicely there as well. Hugs the inside, keeps it tight, and gets his nose in front. But that's been coming for a while now. Colishaw. That's a very, very hard name to say. I've got to say it's a very tough Christian name.
There, yeah.
But yeah, we may have to go by his Christian name instead. But we've got more action at the back here. It looks like Donnelly here getting around a few guys. Car number 5, that's not Donnelly. Apologies. That is
Hatfield. Have a look at the race start real quick. There's a replay. So you're going to see this bog down, right? There it is, isn't it? Completely.
Yes. Doesn't get off the line at all, does he? No. And a green Ferrari just jumps them both. Gets such a good launch there. Somebody has been practicing their race starts for sure. And he has not looked bad since. He's currently 2 or 3 seconds now in the lead. And,
this is an excellent start. This is where you got 3 wide coming through here, and you kind of know that something's not going to work at this point. There's actually a little bit. I forgot contact there from Jimmy, as he's going to be facing the wrong direction. Scary situation for the cars that are flying around that corner, aren't they? At 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, it certainly is. You've got to just be aware of yellow flags, though, and lift, and be ready to take any avoiding action. But
close battle, remember, for P2 at this point.
Yeah, he gets shoved off, and Karma bites him back. He comes back on track and takes out only the one guy who shoved him off in the first place, which is convenient. But so is the lack of damage. Now, Hadfield down in P12, got a lot of work to do to recover here. But an overtake on the inside here from the number 23 car on 19. And that is nicely done. Is 19 going to lose out to the yellow-nosed Ferrari behind as well? Unsure. Does actually, in the end, lose. No, he's managed to hang on to it. I'm just getting confused with the liveries and colours there. The yellow on the back of the black Ferrari in front. But yeah, lots of action so far. Lots of people going for that one move down into turn 1. It seems to be the safest opportunity to make a pass. And you've also got the other back straight as well, down into the hairpin as well. I see a number of moves into there, I assume, as we go through there now.
Here comes Carl, of course. Handwork, trying to make his way back off after that replay we saw earlier on lap 1. And
Gets into the car there on the exit tower, so not a bad run out of that corner at all. So he's got a lot to do, a lot of space to make up. We know he's got the pace ahead of these guys in front, so he just needs to be clean and not lose too much time in the process. He's still got a battle with the guys that he was fighting with in the front, and moment there not having to overtake anybody. But 1.9 now, 1.8. The time is coming down between Cowlishaw and Thomas, and that could be a battle for the lead coming up soon as well. We know he started on pole. We know he's got a lot of pace in that car already, so just to see how that pans out. Fastest lap, 129.
Yeah, so he's banking it, trying to get it done. This is obviously, you'd think at the moment Carl's so much quicker. He is in the pro class, got a better exit out of this. I think he should be able to take it to Adrian Hatfield here. Adrian's not going to put, I don't think, that much of a fight up, knowing that they are different in the classes. Still.
Yep, and got to be aggressive in his position here. Hatfield, he's going to take a wide line there, but he's managed to just about put it back onto the apex there, and gets a very good exit in the end because of that. It's what this track is all about, really. This is a great learning track for people. It's all about taking slow in, fast out. You don't want to really overdrive the car on entry. It's all about the exits here.
Here comes the Flying Scotsman of Scotty Krosick. As you see, Scotty has had a couple of off-track excursions with his fantastic liveries. You mentioned that kind of once again reminds me of the old Red Bull testing livery that they had with that all camouflaged. You can't miss the Scotsman out there, that's for sure, but he's trying to make his positions gained up as well. Further back, Gary's gone off. Uh-oh. And he's backing up so that he's trying to get off the racing line, stops it just in there. I've never heard of that, what that brand is on there, but it looks like some sort of candy or something. Or some sort
Twinix tea cakes. Yeah. They make little tea cakes.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, it's a British thing. It's you have it with your forenoon afternoons, afternoon tea, sandwiches and tea, but Twinix tea cakes, some of the confectionery items and a cup of tea.
Oh,
nice. That's a big crash.
Yeah, Matthew. And
Graham
it should be okay.
Number 72.
Yeah, he lives at repairs, of course. So
yeah, no damage here, but means he can get going again in short order. But I believe the tyres are still going to be pretty done in after that. And here we have Kostrich looking at the inside, but decides better of it. And yeah, he'll
David Clark
happy
as
with that
well
one. Where
too.
is this? This is in there. Hobbs.
Oh.
It looks like he's just gone very, very wide there.
Pulled
in
off.
Hobbs. Spun it round. Oh, is this going to be a bad rejoin? He's going to go. And nope, he's going to get off the track as quick as possible, which was probably the best thing to do in that situation, rather than reverse and waste more time. And there's Binner off into the wall. Very easy to lose the back end on here, even with this stable setup. It is down to the camera of the track at times, I believe. Just sometimes the weight goes off the rear tyres, and if sometimes, especially out of outward curve as well, if you try and get the power down, it's just a little bit too hard. You've got to be very smooth with your throttle application.
Adrian Hatfield there in the very old Williams livery, you'd have to say there, but in a Ferrari with the Rothmans Ferrari team. If you remember that one from the 90s, of course, Damon Hill will be driving one of those machines, wasn't he, at some point? Next contact
from Mr. Twinnick Tea Cake, and he's around and very well avoided there from the Williams liveried. It is a very old one. That was one of the heydays of Williams, that wasn't it, though? So
yeah.
One day, hopefully, we'll see them regain those heights.
No, not going to happen, my friend. Unfortunately, not these days. I've been saying that for practically the last 20 years. It ain't going to happen. Not anymore. Works teams have taken over, as you know, or of course Red Bull, the only other real non-works team that's been performing. But you know how much Red Bull have invested in sports around the world. Still continuing to do quite well there.
Yeah, part of their marketing model, really, isn't it? Just all these extreme sports. Create an image around the brand, and it's those sports teams tend to do very well. Also, doing a number of different fingers in a number of different pies. Red Bull these days even got football teams nowadays with Leipzig, and there's another one, Salzburg, I think it is I believe. But doing a lot.
I mean, do they even sell drinks anymore? Because
Sure.
it's an insignificant part, I think, of the company's revenue these days. The Scotty gets that job done.
Yeah, the guy he had created $1 billion company just so he could fund these sports. I think he's not interested in making money at all. It's but some fantastic things that Red Bull do, all sorts of different things. I don't know if you've seen them landing a plane on the helipad at the Burj Khalifa. That was absolutely immense. These kind of rare stunts.
My friend owns an apartment in that building. I should have been there at the time. I wasn't in the country at the time. Would have been interesting to watch that one. Anyway.
Yeah. Definitely some very interesting things that Red Bull do these days, but also interesting is the battle for P1, which is starting to heat up now within 1 second, and 8-9 minutes to go in this race, and Thomas has got 9 minutes with which to defend for his life from the man behind, and I wonder how long he can hold him off for and how hard he's going to fight this. If I was him, I would be defending the inside line everywhere. Make this guy go the long way around. It's very difficult to overtake here at Okayama if the guy ahead is defending and putting his car in the right place. Make a decision is what I'm going to say. Advice I'm going to give to Thomas here.
They'll have
make it as difficult
a
as possible.
second chance, of course, for that battle to resume, as this battle has been done. So, Carl. Handwork makes his way past, making his way back up there. You can see 7 positions gained from the start of that race when they had that little bit of an incident. So, trying to claw their way back. But yeah, Thomas and, well, it's a reverse 15, isn't it? So, yeah, definitely Thomas. And Karlschlaw, I think it is, will be at it again in the reverse grid if they continue to finish the race this way. You want to, also, you want to win a race, don't you? You want to have that one up your sleeve there. As Callum out there, g'day Callum, says hi. Hello to you, Mr. Callum. Hope you're enjoying the first race of the Evolution Sim Racing, the promo race. But, it still counts to the driver's minds, doesn't it? A little bit of bragging rights to say, hey, I won the first race. Maybe I've won the second race as well.
Anything can happen. I mean, these two guys are going to be P14 and 15, respectively, and battling their way through a few cars in front at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Karlschlaw gets straight past Thomas here as well, and how easy he's going to do that in the second race as well. Of course, we've got another 30-minute race coming up after this one, but we've got this one to deal with first. 7 minutes to go. Karlschlaw is starting to turn the screw. We're also on board here with Newton as he's following closely behind, and he's been trying to get this move done for a while on Trustwell, and this is definitely for track position here as well, and it's going to be difficult to get the move done. As I said, it's difficult to overtake here. You've got to be very aggressive with your overtakes or have a lot of overspeed, or maybe the guy in front just got to make that mistake as well. So I wonder if Thomas knows that and how hard he's going to put up a defence here against Karlschlaw as well, because that's going to be a tough move to make if Thomas doesn't want it to be made. And it'll be interesting to see how it pans out and how feisty these guys get. We've also got an interesting penalty system here in Evolution Sim Racing. Championship points can be docked from you if you are found guilty of incidents, and depends on the outcome of the incident as well. So if you really punch somebody off and cause them to go to the back of the grid, which we've already seen happen once here already with that push off round Moss S's in the first lap and the opening lap, and yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I don't know when. I believe we're going to get the answers to that until next week. But I get the feeling that those penalties are going to become a contributing factor to whoever wins this championship. And people who manage to keep things clean throughout this championship could be the big gainers throughout.
Oh, Mr. Is that Gary Mitchell? No, it's Adrian here that's gone off track. I was just wondering why Adrian started dropping down a couple of places. And let's have a look at the replay as to why. So we can't miss the Rothman's Ferrari livery here. And that doesn't look like he's close enough to anybody here. He's hit the chicane, hasn't he, there on the final corner, and bang. I did see quite a bit of that happening during the practice session. And
tough corner to get right. Got to get very, very close to that apex. A bit of a dodgy rejoin there as well. I wonder if the guy had to get on the brakes there to avoid hitting him. Bit of an odd way to get back on the track, crossing the racing line. Bit of a no-no if there's cars coming. Got to keep an eye on that relative. But we have a
speed difference there coming out of the corner. I didn't think it was that close. That's why I switched over to the rear camera, but it certainly is.
This is Trustwell and Newton still going at it. Trustwell at the moment holding Newton off. He's defending the inside there and covering off that option through. So he's not giving this up easy. He's in for the battle. He's got his elbows out. Is he going to cover the inside into turn 1? Doesn't look like Newton has the overspeed to get him into turn 1. He's got to really plan this attack and get him at the right time, or just force the mistake. Maybe he needs to be a bit more aggressive, start showing his nose up the inside a couple of times. He's trying to put him off a little bit there by the looks of things, but it's a good run and an exit here, but you can't overtake in the Moss S's. It's not a good place to do it. Can he outbrake him into Atwell or get a good exit out of Atwell? Let's see what he does here. He just tucks in behind on the entry. He doesn't want to go for any kind of lunge. It's a nice, tidy, tight line there, and good exit from Trustwell means that nothing to do. I mean, that's the problem here at Okayama. If the guy in front isn't making mistakes, it's very difficult to get the overspeed to get the move done. You've got to be a lot quicker per lap in order to make the overtake.
Battle for the P1. These two have been at it tooth and nail for majority of our first race at the moment, and they are still continuing to do that. Now it's time, if Paul wants to do something about this. That's Paul in P2 with the Coleshaw. I think that's his name. Coleshaw, yeah.
Coleshaw is the only thing I'm saying. Well, I think we'll probably stick with Paul and go with that. He's the only Paul on your screens at the moment, but he's starting to turn the screw, like you say. And Thomas has found that all the advantage of that terrific start he got here has melted away. He's got a battle on his hands now to keep this P1, and he's got to battle it, I think. He's got to defend the inside and make this as difficult as possible, but Paul's going to find this difficult to get past, I think. It's a tough track to race at, this, and yeah, I'm going to follow on board with this one for a while, I think, and this is going to go to the wire. 2.5 minutes to go almost, and yeah, it's going to be a tough one to call. We've also got a battle behind as well. The Flutie has managed to get past the two armed drivers in the background. I think they may have had a mistake or something gone on there. But Trustwell and Newton are now on the back of Reiser. There was another battle going on behind there between him and maybe Clark, I think, but somebody's dropped back quite a distance. I'm maybe going to see a replay of that now. Here it is. Down into turn 1. Looks like it's going to be a failed overtake as Red Ferrari goes to the inside and gets squeezed onto the curb there. Nowhere to go. And that's contact, and then the car in front disappears. That could be a disqualification. I wonder if that's a disqualification. There's only 20 incident points for disqualification. Track limits aren't too bad here, but only 3 or 4 times you've got to get a 4X for contact with other cars, and it's very quick before it stacks up, and then before you know it, that's it. One bump and pop, you've disappeared. That could well be a disqualification. We've got 2 drivers out, Karabelas being one of them, me, and Jones there, who's disappeared. I think that's the man who's just got disqualified. See if we can get to the bottom of that by the end of the race, between the races. But Newton and Trustwell now, that battle means a lot more. This is for P2, and if they get past, maybe an incident happens with Reiser, and we get something there. But following on board still with Paul and Thomas, these guys are going to go down to the last lap here, and is Paul going to be able to make this work? Is he be able to get this position and take what he probably thinks is his rightful place in P1?
Gotta try. He's gotta try, hopefully. This could be the last lap. You can look at the track map at the moment. They're going to be entering to the final sector soon. 1 minute and change. Now, I think if we get one more, we might see Barney waving the white flag. That will help Paul in that P2 position for another opportunity. Straight down into that turn 1 overtaken opportunity that you'd mentioned, and I'd say that's what he's probably looking at sizing up to do.
Doing a great job so far of following very closely to Thomas. He's obviously maybe lifting a little bit and braking a little bit early just to ensure he doesn't run at the back of him. But look at that extra speed that he has there going through the final corner. He knows that he's got a lot of pace, more pace in this car than Thomas has in his. But Thomas has everything in his toolbox here to keep him behind. He just needs to defend the inside, make sure he gets a good run out of that final corner, and if he can do what he maybe just did there on that last lap there, if he can park it on the apex of the final corner and make Paul check up in that final corner, it's going to be nigh on impossible for Paul to make the overtake. You cannot go around the outside there, even if you have a great deal of overspeed. So you've got to maybe worry about that. Maybe worry about Thomas just being a little bit slower on the apexes of some of these corners on purpose, maybe just to make it even more difficult for Paul. We've got a big snap of oversteer there.
I was going to say, what is Hudvik's fighting that car like tooth and nail? It's not whatever the setup is. He's quick with it, you could see, looking to make a move and make his positions back up, and there's a little bit of a blinking light of death, as you like to call it. That's just go throw the drivers off, and that is it. Is trying the pro class, of course, trying to make his way through the AM drivers, who at this point probably don't want to be yielding any of those positions with the clock on 0. And I think Thomas should be able to hold this one off. If we are on the final lap. I'm not quite sure if I did see Barney waving the white.
I have to admit, I wasn't looking for it, so we'll have to see if he's waving the checkered one as they come around the final corner now. And Thomas takes the lead in that corner, but he's flashing the lights there. He's like, yeah, they're slowing down to a crawl. Looks like that's going to be the race. There's the checkered flag. Thomas wins the Okayama promo race 1, and he's going to start P15 for the next one. It's the 30-minute race that we're going to be going ahead with soon. And yeah, big drama there, you've got to say. Lots of action, lots of contact, and some very aggressive moves there. You've got to say that was an aggressive one at the very end there from Hanwick, but he lost it out again to... No, it was Newton he was making the move on. Apologies, it was Newton he made the move on. But Newton and Trustwell were having a great ding-dong all throughout that race as well, with Newton just unable to get past Trustwell. I imagine they both had an absolute fantastic time battling wheel to wheel for majority of this race, by the looks of things. But more results coming in all the time, everybody crossing the line. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting to see how this pans out now for the 30-minute race. A 17-second gap between P2 and P3. So that would have been down to the incidents early on, people checking up, braking, and then those guys being able to race nice and easy and clean through the rest of the race through traffic, giving them a sizable gap behind. There's a couple of guys. Jenkins, for example, ended up in the pits at the end, at the very back of the pro grid, with Covert there as well, down in P19. Those guys ended up off the track with that early incident where I think it was Jenkins got pushed off onto the grass, span on the grass, and then speared back onto the track, taking out the very man who put him on the grass in the first place. In a ball of fire. Of course, no damage, so they were both able to get back and going, but nothing really anything like the pace to get back into it. So let's go through the results, though. We've got Mark Thomas wins the opening race. We've got Paul Koshaw in P2, who had the pace there to maybe get him 4 tenths behind in the end, but just couldn't find the move. Fluty. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. We'll come back to that one in the future, but Thiago Reiser, Ruben Trustwell, Carl Hanwick, Gareth Newton, Sean Clark, and Wesley van der Renz and Stephen Donnelly make up the rest of the top 10, with Scott Kostrix, Robin Aston, Graham Matthews, Gary Mitchell, Adrian Hadfield, James Mukian, and David Clark making up the rest of the 17. Onwards to Jimmy Covert, Danny Stewart, Stefan Parkinson, Craig Charles, Jamie Jenkins, and Matthew Jones, who round out the rest of the field. Few drivers, a number of laps down there. Craig Charles and Jenkins 4 laps down. Obviously myself did start many laps down there, where I belong, at the very bottom of for making such a poor error. So
you beat yourself up. It's okay, mate. That's it. This is like it's like everything. It's a dress rehearsal, right? That you've got to do a Broadway show. You have your initial opening nights that you have in private before you have it to the public. Well, even though we are doing it to the public at the moment, this is one of our dress rehearsals. It's not the main show, so it hasn't. Your car, of course, is not affecting anybody in the race. I've done
chat here. Martin Lee saying in chat. Sorry, good comms, lads. Great info. Thank you very much for that. Please, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to get a little bit of shill in there, just to get the broadcast further up in the algorithms and everything. So, but
there is
3 minutes.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, Stephen, there is somebody here in the casting booth that's elected to start drilling into the wall. So if you do hear that every once in a while, I'll make sure that I mute myself. And Stephen, you got it all covered anyway, just so. I'm just letting you know. Yeah. But maybe I didn't send him the memo that, hey, we're broadcasting here at the moment. Okay.
Well, there's what can you do with them?
But yeah, it's okay.
Another race to go. So a number of guys there had races to forget, particularly Jenkins there at the beginning with that big incident. And it's going to be interesting to see how they can recover now for this second race. This is the beauty of these 2 race formats, is that it's not over till the Fat Lady sings. second race 30 minutes, and we're probably going to see pit stops in this one, as I don't believe there's enough fuel in the car to go the full length. So be interesting to see whether or not people go for optional different strategies, or if everybody's just going to take as much fuel as they can, run it dry, and then go for a splash and dash. I think that's probably going to be the most likely scenario. But,
Well, Stephen, I guess that the Ferraris, should make a good pit stop this time, wouldn't they? Compared.
Wouldn't trust Ferrari.
They did actually
right anytime, really.
Looking forward to the Silverstone F1 GP, of course, coming up.
I certainly have. I've got a number of friends going, and I've already asked them to see if they can have a look around Cops for any bits of Max's car. He usually leaves a bit there.
Too soon.
So yeah.
Too soon.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, of course, that mighty big prank. Remember the prank that they had last? See, the halo, of course, spinning, who was it? Car, Alfa Romeo upside down, remember, into the fence.
That was Zhou. That was Jogan.
Oh, yeah.
Jogan Zhou, yeah. Doing a bit of breakdancing in a Formula 1 car. Not recommended. It's not the quickest way to get around the track, that. But, definitely looking forward to Silverstone. It's a great racetrack. One of the fastest, if not the fastest, racetrack in the world. Spiritual home of Formula 1. Brilliant place to race. But let's be honest, I don't really think anybody can see anybody other than Max winning this one. He is a machine at the moment in F1 and dominating proceedings with a dominant car. But yeah, there's still plenty of action up and down the grid. Elsewhere, looks like McLaren are coming back in. But we're not here to talk about F1. We're here to talk about Evolution Sim Racing. So what are your kind of predictions? What do you think is going to happen in this 30-minute race? Do you think some of those guys, Jenkins, do you think they're going to be able to make a comeback?
I think so. You saw some of the fantastic passing overtaking opportunities for those pro drivers before making their way up through the field there after the early lap incident. So yes, I'd imagine you're going to see more of that masterclass driving. Perhaps that's a little bit of a rehearsal for them, what they have to do for this race. We'll see. Once again, a little noisy in the background. I do apologize about that one. Not much that I can do. Stevie, mate, you going to have it covered? For
yeah,
sure.
I've got it covered. No
just remember, if I'm not speaking too much, that's the reason why. It's just dingoes barking outside, stuff like that. We should get ready for some motor racing.
Not an issue at all, not an issue. Martin Lee says in chat, you sound like you're from the northeast. I certainly am, from sunny Newcastle. And so don't hold that against me. Can help it. But lived here all my life, apart from a little stint in Liverpool, where I went to university. Brilliant city as well. But, let's have a look then at the grid for the 30-minute race. We've got Adrian Hadfield in P1 this time from P15 previously. We've got Gary Mitchell and then Graham Matthew there as well. We've got Gary Mitchell, who's actually from the pro class as well. So he's managed to start quite high up. Maybe he's looking to do well in this race rather than the last one. Robin Aston in P4. Scott Kostrich, we saw him off a couple of times in the pro for P5. And Stephen Donnelly in P6. Wesley Van Rens in P7. Sean Clark, P8. Gareth Newton, P9, and Carl Handwerk, who we saw going very well on a recovery drive in the previous race, in P10. Robin Truswell in P11 and Thiago Reiser in P12. But we're already underway, so we'll have to skip the rest of that. And looks like we are off. Looks like a very good start there from Mitchell, and managed to gain a position already. And Kostrich is up 3 positions as well. There's a number of people going wide there, taking advantage of up the inside. There's looks like Handwerk gaining positions early on as well, making short work of some of the ARM drivers in front of him, and gaining big times. Can't go too wide through the S's. Very dangerous to do so. We've got Aston there, and Hadfield getting up into P4 as he tries to defend around the outside into Atwood. And dangerous place to try and defend there, because you've got to trust the guy on the inside not to bowl you into the barrier. So big respect there from the drivers here. We've got Newton dropping down the order in big style there, as he's dropped 11 positions from the start of this one. Not gone his way, as we've got another changes here between Handwerk and Matthew. Handwerk is making short work of everybody in front of him at the moment. He is on a charge at the moment, up 4 positions. Jenkins is up 11 positions from the back. Oh, big contact there in Revolver by the looks of things. And an AlphaTauri livery guy is around. That is Covert, or is it Thomas, I believe. No, I think it's Covert, but Thomas also falling down the order. He's been collected in that big incident. Hopefully we can get a replay of that and see what exactly occurred there. But big drama here in the second race already. Start of the race is dangerous time to be on track. Here we go then. So 2-3 guys off track at the moment. Didn't see what caused it, but looks like this is Thomas. Has gone around. Big no problem for him there. As yeah, it just looks like looks like 2 incidents at once. One guy going at the back of the other as people checked up for an incident ahead. People not realizing what was going on and end up spinning in the back. But Mitchell currently still leading this race, 3/10 over Kostrich, who's the Scotsman, and done well to get up to 3 positions as well. Handwerk managed to lose a couple of those positions that he gained in that incident there, but he's still fighting pretty in P4 at the moment in the pro class, and makes up another position there on Troswell. Man on a mission here. He's really making a lot of overtakes in these opening laps. Is Handwerk, and yeah, doing a good job so far. Have a move down the inside into the hairpin here. He's going to try and get it up on the brakes. He does. He outbrakes him very well. And lots of respect shown there not to cut his nose off. But outside line, not very good here. He's going to keep it up the inside into Revolver. What a overtake that was. Very brave. Just knew he had the extra grip on the inside. And there he gets tagged in the background there. That is Matthew going around and into the barrier. And that is going to be difficult to rejoin with the train of cars coming up behind, and he gets spun around off the racing line and rejoins. Let's have a look here. Yeah, just pushed in the back there as he got a slow exit out of Piper, and yeah, could not get it going again. We've got a slow car there on the apex of Redmond as well. It seems we've got going again, just letting somebody through by the looks of things. But 1:30.397, fastest lap of the race from Kostrich as well. As looks like we've got a battle here down into turn 1 between Sean Clark and Covert. It's Covert up the inside into turn 1 and makes that move nice and clean. Pro against Am, no contest, gets it nice and easy, and now run away with it and try and catch the train up ahead. What an opening few laps to this 30-minute race that was. Absolutely brilliant action, and yeah, Martin Lee says he's in Durham, so felt great to see a fellow Northeasterner here. Used to live in Washington, not far from you. So, yeah, I've been around the Northeast quite a bit. We've got almost Rumour and Wes from Brent the Blob. And Bumblebee also says, good evening, guys. Good evening, Bumblebee. We've got a man, number 88, into the barrier. Not the way the track goes. Oh, what a rejoin there. That's very dangerous. Trying to get back on track, but car spinning. I wonder, I don't think the damage, I've never driven with damage off in iRacing. I wonder, because the damage shows there on the animation, shows the damage. Is the damage there just for half a second that can affect the car?
It is. It is. It's just, it's just there for it to, yeah, just, and then all of a sudden the magical mechanics come out there and patch it all up there, and you're back at the action. So I'm not quite sure. Wow, here's a nice little battle brewing between Carl Handwork, Handwork, and then Hadfield. Handwork.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not giving up easy is Hadfield, but he's going to squeeze Handwork down into turn 1, but it looks like Handwork's going to get this one, brake later, and carry the speed through turn 1, gets it done nice and easy. But that looked a bit spicy on the exit to the last corner there, on the entry last corner there. Got very close to the back bumper of the man who was trying to overtake. But look at this, we've got 3 wide almost here, and this is through turn 2, and looks like Cowlishaw. Is that Cowlishaw? No, that's Jenkins there in the Alpha Tauri livery car. Got a bit wide there in turn 2, but he should have the pace over Newton. This guy was competing at the front in the first race until he got taken out in a big fiery ball opening lap. You should be able to get that move done sooner rather than later. Lots of close racing on track this evening here. We've got 24 minutes to go. Only 5 minutes of this race gone so far. It feels like 20 already. And such is the amount of action that we're seeing on track here at the moment. Lots of overtakes, lots of spins, lots of crashes, and this is proving to be great entertainment so far for me. I don't know about you, team, but I'm enjoying the hell out of this. This is brilliant stuff.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. It's cracking, and we haven't got those pit stops that are occurring just yet, which we will expect. With just one retirement, no doubt your number 7 machine is not in the race, but still, we still have a nice little battle at the top of the timesheets, as well as this one that's brewing here with Riser there and Handwork. And don't forget Mitchell and Scotty are going to be probably looking at something. And so there it is. This man right now just at the fastest lap looking to get past the Ferrari. Of course, they're all Ferrari, so get to past as many of the Ferraris as you possibly can. He is in the Pro class, so my apologies. It's, yeah, it's Adrian, wasn't it, just at the fastest lap before? No, it was Carl. Getting all mixed up here. So good.
Yeah, Carl, though, at the moment, he's got to clear these ARM guys in front of him. It's got 3 cars between him and the rest of the Pro class, and he wants to get onto that podium, and he's wasting no time trying to get past these guys as well. It looks like Raisa is defending the inside and the hairpin as well, so Pro or ARM or not, he doesn't care a jot. He wants to defend this position. Look at that. Brilliant defense. Just defend the inside line, and it makes it very difficult for the guy behind to do anything, and you maybe thought about a poke up the nose into revolver. Dangerous place to make a move, but Carl so far has proven that he's not afraid to make that kind of lunge on these guys, and to be aggressive, force them off like, oh, there's a big spin there, and he does get tagged. Hannewick as well. I was going to say it was going to be very difficult to avoid that, but corrects him in the end. So Raisa has to give a big thank you to him for that, without the damage on the car as well. That means he's not going to be slowed down any from here on in, but he does give the position up. But maybe not what he wanted, considering he defended into the hairpin.
Tell you what I'm impressed with. This, you have to say, this driver here, Robin, of course, with the reverse grid. Robin has a 913 I rating. It's practically the lowest on the field here at the moment. It's been holding on to that P3 for some time right now. Just got replaced by Steven. So
he almost outbraked himself a little bit there, but it was a good overtake there from Donnelly, and gets Aston into turn 1. Aston tried to fight it back, but low I rating doesn't mean anything in these kind of races.
I believe
it's
especially
about,
considering how well Robin had been doing. So Robin's now back into the same position he started the race with in the reverse grid. So keep up the good work. Remember the AN class, about to be under a massive attack from the rest of the pros, because I think Carl's about to make a move now. And then of course you've got the likes of, I think, Riser there. Diego Riser might be a little bit pacier, and that's a little bit of a mistake right now from Robin, just as I started speaking about Robin Aston. You know what the problem is?
Trying to keep it around the outside as well. He managed it as well.
He needs to be in an Aston Martin, doesn't he? That's the problem. He's in a Ferrari, Robin. You're in the wrong one. You got to be an Aston.
He's defending hard. You've got to say, he knows these guys are faster, and he's making it extremely awkward for them. He's putting his car right in the middle of the track, making it as wide as he possibly can, but he cannot defend this forever, I don't think. He does not have the pace to compete with Handwork behind, and Handwork is probably going to get him down into turn 1. He's going to get such a good exit out of here and be able to outbrake him into turn 1. Such a toe's not going to be too strong around here, but he's strong enough to defend this position. But look at this. He's trying level best here, Aston, to hold on this position, but outbrakes himself, goes wide into that corner, but as long as you're on the inside for the turn 2, very difficult to make the move here. Goes for the better exit, can't go overtake through the Moss S's. Very dangerous to do so, but is he going to be able to outbrake him into Atwood? He's going to go for the inside and shove his nose in there. It's likely to get cut off if you try too hard, but respect given from Robin, and he does manage to get a good exit as well. Now he has the inside for hairpin, and he should be completing this move by now. Shouldn't be able, Aston shouldn't have anything to be able to really do holding it around the outside here. No, can't do it. There you go.
Aston's now going to be thinking, doesn't he, about the next car down the road there. That's the 23 machine. But very, very good. At small laps, you're denying them the possibility of getting further up the road. You kind of wondered, too, other drivers going to be looking for like some Robin. Okay, now I'm starting to drop some places, of course, in this reverse grid race. Should I
now going down the inside, and there's contact as well. And yeah, looked like he had a wheel alongside the back axle there, did Ricer, and could have been afforded a little bit more space, but Aston, I mean, I suppose he's entitled to try and defend as hard as he can against these guys, but he needs to do that in order to finish as high as he possibly can. Let's get a better angle of this as well. So early indication of where he's going to go, but look at this. He's not alongside before the turning point, so maybe that's on Ricer. Maybe he's left his nose in where it doesn't belong. He's kept it in the vortex of danger and caused that contact in the end. I got to think that maybe that's not on Robin. I've misjudged too early there by the looks of things, but that could be a potential penalty coming for Ricer. Maybe cost him a couple of championship points.
That's true.
So that's also the thing with Aston's idea of defending these so hard as well. The harder you defend, the more likely it is that something like that's going to happen. And if it's not your fault, then you're costing people around you
Yeah,
championship
that's what I
points.
was just about to tell you, Stephen. Is it enough time you can pop into pit road there, come out and clear air, just get on with some of the lap times you're doing earlier and not have to deal with all the dilemma around you? That's something. But then again, do they have enough fuel? Because we do, we're 18 minutes and change into this race, so only 11 minutes in. Quite sure if you could stretch the fuel situation to the end, but always something to go through the back of your mind.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether or not Kostic goes for an undercut of any kind as well. He's been stuck behind Mitchell for the entirety of this race after Mitchell and him both got very good starts. But handwork now up into P3, 11-second gap that he's got to try and catch those guys. But he's now got a lot of clean air in front of him to do so. We've got Cowlishaw down in P12 at the moment. He's stuck in a train of 4 cars all behind Aston at the moment, who's causing a bit of a roadblock for everybody. He's Constantine had every up into a big gap here. Got a lovely gaggle of cars running around track all together. That's making it very difficult though for anybody to overtake because of the tow and the lack of space in front. You've got to really make sure that you're going to get alongside and not punt the guy off in front of the guy that you're trying to overtake. Look at this defense here, and a little tap in the rear there for the Sky Livery car, and then that Constantina's into another tap into Aston's rear again. Aston's starting to struggle here. He's getting caught up with the big boys, and maybe a little bit of panic setting in, do you think?
Yeah, I think now after... the problem is I've made the commentator's curse made it be mentioned, because as soon as I was just saying how well Aston has been holding on to that P3 position for quite some time, all of a sudden now is in P9 and under a gurgle of cars behind. So just got to keep you cool, calm and collected, but you don't want to be getting involved because you're still doing a fantastic job, remember, for an AM driver in a gaggle of pro class drivers, as well as once again if you're talking about if you get to take iRacing numbers seriously, you know, everybody around him's like 1.5K to 2K I rating. So I'd say, yeah, outperforming definitely in your class.
It's always a difficult thing to judge with the I rating as well. Obviously, high I ratings. Oh, what a move that is from Aston. Dives up the inside into Redman and gets the position. That was brilliantly done as well. So low I rating or not, this guy knows how to race. He's got his elbows out. He's getting involved, and kudos to him. He's fully entitled to do so. Nobody can tell anybody that I rating makes a jot of difference when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing on the track. All that matters is who gets to the apex first and who gets the good exit. So that's something to think about. As Cowlishaw is coming now at Aston, and he's a lot quicker, and Aston maybe recognises this and just goes a little bit wide and lets him through. He knows he's a pro. He knows he was at the front of the previous race, and this is part of league racing. You start to get used to who's around you, start to get used to the names that aren't worth fighting, names that are, and starting to see Thomas and Jakings making moves as well in the back, but they've got a lot to do. There's the Rothmans Ferrari off. It's Williams liveried car again in the wars, and that is Hadfield around once more, the car number 5 in the AM class. What's happened here then is the cars around him. Is he involved with anybody else, or? Oh yeah, that's a tap. He's, that's on the car behind. You've got to say he's going for a closing gap, and that move was never really on. Pushes him off, and he loses several positions. That's going to be a penalty for the man who pushed him, for sure, I think. But remains to be seen after the penalties and everything else in there, as we've got another move here. This is Wesley Van Ryn's getting overtaken there. This lovely little scrap in the midfield here between all of these guys in the AM class. We've got Van Rens, Parkinson, Aston, Trustwell, Clark, and all in a little train here. And the pro guys have all managed to get through them all quite quickly, you've got to say as well. Cowdershaw is doing very well now after looked like he was struggling. Covert, look at him, up 12 positions from the start of this race. The pros now, in these longer races, 15 minutes to go, are starting to show that their consistency and lap after lap pace is starting to come good as they start to reach the higher. Cowdershaw has managed to get past Covert. Covert's gone around. Off. Something's happened to him. Yep. He's now in the pit lane as well. He's towed that, I think. I think that maybe his race done. He's gone wide there. Snap of oversteer into the barrier, and then he's towed it from there.
Yeah, I don't know why collision as well too between Wesley Van Rens.
He's reversed back on into the path of the other guy. He's trying to reverse out of the racing line. The guy's gone off the racing line to try and get around him, hoping he's going to hold his break.
Stephen here? They've come together here, so look out for the Sky livery. And then there's the red Ferrari. Oh, that's a blinking of Stephen. Oh, that, wow.
Oh, that's so unfortunate, isn't it? A big blink.
Oh, then the other car's
Big
behind.
net code, and then all of a sudden everybody's in a pile. And yeah, that was a bad rejoin there though from Wesley. I think it is Van Rens after that. So yeah, he's blinked and then taken him out while he was blinked as well.
Well, he's not rejoining. At this point, he's just got to stop, right, if he can. And then, but he slid back
he
a
might
little
have
bit.
been holding the brake for all we know, but yeah, it's maybe as much on the guy behind who's taking a very straight leg. He should have stuck to the racing line, but it's easy to see. I always do this as well. When I see a car sideways in front of me, aim for the back of it. Most drivers go forward when they spin. So, and if they hold the brake or stop the car, they'll then start moving forward immediately. So I always aim for the back end of the car if it's sideways. He's thought the same thing, obviously, there, and just unfortunately...
It's a trick to it. I'm not sure about road courses, but obviously in IndyCar and NASCAR, there's a trick to where you're supposed to go. Obviously, that's a little bit different because most of them are ovals, so... Yeah, aim in one direction and close your eyes and you just pray that you're not going to hit anything.
That, like, top coaching tip advice for ovals, close your eyes and pray if there's an incident ahead of you. I mean, it works for me too. Yeah.
But you got to stick it. You got to stick in one like racing line. You got to, because if you start swerving around, you know, you might hit another car, might avoid them, but then at the same time, there's other cars probably near you that might be doing other things. You might end up finding you're going to come in collision with them, more than you'll come in collision with the car that's having an accident up the road. Other way, there are tricks to it. I'm sure. If you study tapes, I'm sure there's probably YouTube videos about that as well. I mean, what to do, you know? I mean, professional race drivers do that. Teams do that.
I think in my experience, whenever there's an incident ahead, the one thing that a majority of people don't do when they see a big cloud of smoke and yellow flags all in front of them in a pile of cars is lift off the accelerator. A lot of people just think, okay,
don't lift.
Let's pray.
Never lift.
Keep it pinned and pray that I can get through a tiny gap here. Whereas, obviously, if you just lift off the accelerator, and sometimes, obviously, if it's a bad track like Nordschleife or something like that, slam the brakes on. Like, you need to give yourself enough control to be able to avoid everything that's going on ahead of you. Fastest lap there from Cowler Short.
As well, mate.
Oh, well, Bathurst, well, Bathurst, honestly, if somebody loses it down the mountain, it doesn't matter what you do. You can literally blink out of existence for the entirety of that sector of track and then blink back in out of Foster's and still getting up in the middle of the crash somehow. That is Bathurst all over, really. It's a nightmare of a track. Absolutely brilliant track to race, though, because of the carnage. And, yeah, great.
That's why I've actually casted some league racing before where, you know, for the actual 12-hour events, the special events that iRacing do. And if they didn't qualify too well, teams have actually elected to start the pit road. I actually thought it was a clever idea because of the fact that they got to avoid all the carnage that happens on the first lap, of course, in these endurance races. And then just scoot on by and gain a lot of those positions that they probably would have either been in starting the race or gain more. So it's not a bad idea.
Honestly, I've only ever started Bathurst on the grid once in the GT3 and never again. I think I got punted off into the wall in turn 2, the right-hander before the mountain. And yeah, it was a nightmare of a race. Even once I got back on the track and fixed damage, there was mountain cars sideways on the mountain. It was a real stumbling block. So yeah, I would always start Bathurst races. Unless you're starting at the very front, I would start from the pits. Just wait for the death.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's wise, isn't it? Especially if you're during like longer races and stuff like that. Of course, yeah. If you're doing short 10-minute sprints and stuff like that, you can't afford the time. But in the other ones, you can. These two are still going for it too for now. There's a 9-second gap back to P3. So as long as they don't take each other out, they should be looking good for that 1 and 2. It's just up to them to roll the dice and see who wants that P1 and who wants the P2. Further back here, we have Mr. James looking for a possible P11. I'll give themselves 9 positions gained right there for Jenkins, I think it is. No, this is James Malkan.
Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, no, James, the Alpha Racing team. Just as we put the camera onto him, I blame that one completely on Stephen there, James.
I didn't say anything. Yeah. I didn't say anything. But not going well for James there. But Jamie Jenkins takes full advantage and gains himself another position. He's doing well on a recovery drive here, but he wants to be a lot higher than he is at the moment. He's been caught up in too many incidents this evening, and he'll be disappointed with that. But he's one to watch in future weeks because he definitely seems to have a lot of pace there, Jenkins, as well. Cowdershaw up another position, overtakes Donnelly there in the final corner and disappears. What an exit he got out of there compared to
Just have a look at the
there.
replay,
And,
just so that we don't always show. I know he's like showing absolute crashes on the replay. I could say that's a liftoff, isn't it? For sure. I don't think
know whether or not
Stephen
he
put too much of a fight with that one.
it looks like he just gave it up. Yeah, like went wide on purpose and slowed himself far too much for that corner, giving up all the space on the inside to keep the run. But it could also just as easily been a bit of a lock-up or a snap and that we missed. But I don't think so, to be honest. I think he probably just gave it up. Doesn't want to fight too hard with Paul, knowing that Paul is so much quicker.
Maybe
but, look at these.
Robin Aston could be fighting, because Robin Aston at the moment on for a P3 in the AM class. He's just got to make sure he can defend the 7 minutes and change. He wants to be able to defend. Obviously, Thomas is battling with him right now, so Thomas is not in his fight for the pro class, but he's going to be more worried about Mr. Clark, Sean Clark, down the road. That's his main AM target. And if Clark gets past him, then he'll steal that P3 drive away for the race too. So I think that's what he'd be thinking.
Needs to think ahead a bit more here as well, Mr. Aston. I think he needs to let Thomas go and hang on to the back of him for his toe. Fighting him is just pushing him further back into clutches
Here it is.
of the man his real fight is, which is Clark, like you say. So he just let him through in the end. There's Aston with his little Italian flag down the centre of his Ferrari. Definitely makes the car go faster, I've got to say. Italian flags on your car make it lighter and more stylish.
Red makes the car go faster.
I mean, I've got a bright yellow Ferrari at the moment, and I've on my Ferrari at the moment. So yeah, I'm committing blasphemy or sacrilege, whatever you want to call it, by not having it there. There's the Alfa Liberty 96 around there. That is James Wooten again having some real struggles here. That's the thing with
Final corner,
this track.
isn't it? Oh, there's contact.
Oh, maybe he's got a wheel alongside there, and yeah, he's left it in the vortex of danger. People need to really look up this definition of what the vortex of danger is and how to avoid these incidents by not being in it.
Pit stops.
Essentially, the too long different read of it is don't put your nose where it's going to get cut off. Got to say that's 6 and 2/3. It's generally going to be called a racing incident, but you've only got yourself to blame if you're putting your nose there and it gets cut off. I think
Jimmy's been in this pit road for 8 minutes and change, so I don't presume he's coming back out. He's probably got some technical issues over because you don't need to worry about repairs. But
yeah, certainly not.
Graham's come out, so Graham's done his scheduled pit stop. That's just a stop and go, so it's about 13 or so seconds in the box and then back out. We'll see what the other drivers do, if they do it. Here is on board Mr. Sean Clark. Now, we know Sean at the moment is battling Robin Aston up the road, potentially for the P3 in the AM class. The AM class is the yellow, as you can see next to the driver number, and the green is the pro class. So, once again, no points for this one. This is only a promotion race, but it's something to give you a little bit of a sniplet, especially with the drivers, as to what to be expecting when we do go fully racing in Silverstone next week. Had a battle for the lead, but I think Scotty may have getting tired here at this position and looking to bring it to Mitchell here.
Try round the outside into the hairpin, I believe we are at, and down into Revolver. Tea Cake Man keeps the lead for now, but Kostrich starting to turn the screw. Didn't think it was going to last forever. These guys have been working together to try and prevent the guy behind, who is Handwork, who's managed to close an 11-second gap, that was, when he first got P3, down to 5.6 seconds. But now there's only 5 minutes to go. Kostrich has had enough of this, and he wants to make the overtake. But Mitchell, if these guys start fighting and defending and costing themselves a lot of time, it won't be long before Handwork is right on top of them, and then it could be a three-way battle. These guys will cost themselves a lot of time. Look at that. Big mistake there from Handwork means he's dropping time altogether. Oh, it's gone into the pit lane. So, the stops. He's gone for the undercut here, Handwork, and that might gain him some time. It's 5.6 when he came into the pits. These guys are still yet to stop. Got a number of guys. You can see there on your screen the stops. A number of guys in the back have already stopped. Jenkins has stopped. He's already gaining quite a few positions. Maybe he's stopped and now got himself into the free air. Maybe his extra speed in that free air could bring him more into the battle. And this is going to be very, very interesting. Now, this is going to spice things up in this race immensely as everybody's starting to come in now. Everybody's running out of fuel. Pit stops are coming in thick and fast, and mistakes here are more likely as let's see if everybody has practiced pit entry and pit exit as well. You can cost yourself a lot of time in the pits if you brake a little too early.
This is the only problem I'm worried about, Stephen, is that with 3 minutes to change to go, you're only going to get a handful of laps in to try to do anything. So I don't know why. I mean, you get a mandatory pit stop, of course, if you're running out of gas, but you kind of think with some of the other drivers, why wouldn't you seize an opportunity earlier? You know, go in. You'll obviously be a little bit heavier, taking some more gas on, but it's going to give you the opportunity of perhaps trying to get some overtakes done or put some banker laps in when they are, you know, if you've got clean air and stuff. See how that pans out, but we haven't seen a lot of it. We only saw a couple of drivers coming in just before, and now they're all starting to come in. You're probably going to see a bit of a box rush, so I like to say. You have to give it at the moment to still Robin Aston and holding off Sean Clark. So that's another interesting one to look at, as well as our top two at the moment between Mitchell and Scotty.
Yeah. Another option, of course, always is depending on it obviously always depends. It's a flowing thing, a rolling thing as you're going through the race. What you need to do with things. Oh, Aston blinks a bit there. That's always scary for Mr. Sean Clark behind. Got no idea where he's going to blink back in and what direction his car is going to be pointed in. If that guy lost it while he was blinked out, he could definitely be backwards on the track looking at you, and that's always going to cause a stain in the underwear. But yeah, a number of guys might, depending on the position, might think, I mean, Clark might think at the moment, I just need to lift and coast and save fuel and try and go an extra lap. That extra lap might give you the overcut. That could also work, especially if you've saved fuel and for a long time in the race. But 30 minutes race, it's probably not enough time to lift and coast and draft long enough in order to save an entire lap. But short lap here, only 1 minute and 46 to go. A number of people haven't made a stop as well, so I'm wondering if these managed to save enough fuel to get to the end of the race as well. Don't know if that's going to be doable. They may have to just do a quick splash and dash. That could mix up the order entirely. We've got Handwerk is currently the highest ranked driver at the moment who has made his stop. So it'll be interesting to see how many positions he gains. But Phil, 1 minute to go.
We can see a white flag. So hard to see the flag, bad Barney there. Couldn't see, actually. It's amazing how the Formula 1 drivers could even read the pit boards that they have. So there it is. So Paul has gone into pit road, the 134 Ferrari, number 10 positions gained as well too. See how he pans out. That means that some of those other drivers are going to be boxing. But I'm going to see this nice battle resuming here between P1 and P2 because they're going for it too for now. Scotty's now, what do you think, applying the pressure big time to Gary, to Gaza, and forcing maybe Gaz into a mistake. And at this point too, don't you, if you're Scotty, are you going to follow him if he goes in the pit road? Because that means that now Gary Mitchell is the one that has to go home and make that decision.
I mean, you get at the stage of the race now where he may not have a choice. He might have very little fuel in his own car left. And 26 seconds to go here. I wonder if these guys have managed to save enough to carry on that extra lap. Or will they run out of fuel on the last lap? Maybe they've misjudged it. Let's find out. 17 seconds to go. Going to be a white flag on the line unless we already had it last lap. I do not know, but I highly doubt it. But Kostrich at the moment looking very racy, very close to the back, and an incident here could ruin both their races. They need to be very careful. Takes a wider line through Hobbs, but it needs to get a very, very good exit out of this one here. They don't go into the pit entry. They carry on. And it looks like they're going to maybe have saved enough fuel to carry on at the very end. Because if they come in this
checkered flag, isn't it? I think I see Barney with a checkered flag. Oh, who's up in the background? I think that was Graham. But that Graham was almost a lap down anyway. So it is a checkered flag. That's it. They have made it to the end.
Certainly have. So yeah, they've managed to save enough fuel to do so. And there's a number of crashes off in the background as well. That's before the line as well.
Yeah, that's actually coming back here.
On there.
This is because Graham, maybe I think he's backed up here, and maybe this has destroyed Riser's. There's Riser.
That's a horrible rejoin, you've got to say as well. He knew what he'd done and tried to stop, which made it even worse. And that, unfortunately, an unsafe rejoin is going to cost him 2 places in the final race results. That is the rules. Standard penalty for any unsafe rejoin in this league, 2 losses of position. So that's going to be
That's interesting because
Graham
at this point he's a lap down. If he crossed that checkered flag, I think at this point he would have just been finished anyway in the race. But he's lost it here, and then elected to try to turn around. Now this is kind of where you need a spotter because you got your second, third, fourth in the regular in the race coming around the corner now, and you look at this, you're on the racing line. So that's definitely going to be a big no-no there, Graham. Especially when all you have to do is just
stay still.
Park it. I mean, once again, he's a lap down from these guys. So, and who reversed it up across the line? Was that Riser? I think Riser did.
I did not see that at all. But
yeah, Riser did. So Riser comes around here, right? This is where he's going to hit, unfortunately, because he's on the racing line. He's currently finished at P4 overall. Now, whether that cost him that last place, that third there, I think it did to Richard. So Richard got that third place. And here now is just going to back it up across the, look at that, straight in style. There it is. Why not?
Yeah, probably the best option. He only had a couple of 100 yards to go. He just needed to cross the finish line and do it as quick as possible. Turning it around there was going to be very dangerous, as we just saw with Gary, who managed to take somebody out. There'll be a penalty coming his way. But here are your race results. Mark Thomas wins. Is this right? This isn't right.
Sorry, sir. This is not. This will be your feature race results right now. Sorry.
That was the feature race. So that was the first race results. So here we have the race from the 30-minute results from the 30-minute race we just had. So Gary Mitchell and Scott Kostrich managed to get the strategy right, stayed out long enough, saved enough fuel to make the full race and get P1 and P2 respectively. Richard Fleety for Cabot Motorsport comes in P3. Thiago Reiser finishing top of the arms, and that was the man who was going backwards across the line. So I believe he did the right thing there, trying to cross the line. He lost out to Floydie at the end, but Carl Handwerk also had a great race here. He made a lot of overtakes today, along with Mark Thomas right behind him. Robin Aston, my driver of the race in that one, did a fantastic job in the arm class. Comes P2, defended well from Sean Clark and Robert Trustwell. And even a couple of the pro guys, he managed to think twice about overtaking him as well. Great defensive display. Jamie Jenkins, one day to forget for him. He should have been a lot higher up by the looks of things, along with Paul Collishaw. We'll get there in the end. That's a very difficult to pronounce, got to say. He's had one to forget here. Not really made up the places. Had to make a pit stop, so he's pushing maybe a bit too hard. And Gareth Newton, David Clark, Stephen Donnelly, Stefan Parkinson, and Adrian Hadfield, James Mukian all make up the rest of the field. James Mukian had a real one to forget here. Big few spins here as well. Hadfield also maybe could have been a lot higher up in the arm class, but a couple of incidents for him as well. Move on to the rest of the grid. We've got Wesley Van Rens lap down, along with Graham Matthew, who had that big spin and incident on the line. He's going to get a penalty for that for sure, for an unsafe rejoin. Jimmy Covert, one to forget for him. He's back at the pros, and 10 laps down, he gave up on it early. Craig Charles, both races went Auri for him. Maybe some technical issues. And Danny Stewart as well, 16 laps down here. And Matthew Jones did not start, I don't think. But yeah, Martin Lee says in chat, a good strat from Gary and Scott there. Yep, seemed to work out. I think everybody was expecting maybe have to a pit stop. A few people did a pit stop, and a lot of people didn't. So that'll be an interesting feature come in the future races. Maybe we'll see more people trying to extend and save a pit stop time. What fantastic entertainment we've had there this evening. What fantastic racing. Lots of drama, lots of action, lots of overtakes. Especially considering Okayama is a tough track to overtake at as well. But a number of people will maybe be getting penalties after that one. Do you think, Dean?
Yeah, or perhaps penalty warnings. Being once again a promotion race, they're probably not going to be as hard on the drivers as you would when we do start our official round one. But then again, those warnings are kind of probably very good for the drivers to say, look, if this was maybe a scheduled race, you would be definitely getting a penalty. Also, but it's a little spank across the hand, like naughty, do it again, and you know the cane will be out rather than just a spank across the hand. I don't know, but somewhere I think once again as a promo race, we're going to take it seriously. But how seriously? That's up to the league, of course. And if you want to be a part of that league, make sure you hit all the information below. You can hit in the description, and if you feel like you would like to be handling one of these Ferraris around, I'm not sure about sign-ups and all that sort of jazz, but you can find out in the league. They may have something mid-season when you can join or not join or whatever, but the time would be now if you're looking to be a part of that one. Thank you very much for the broadcast out there. Can't wait to be back for race 1. And yes, that's it from me. But over to you to wrap it up there, Stephen. And of course, everybody can be tuning in for race 1 soon.
Yeah, hopefully we're not sure if we're going to do any interviews. I guess not, but I have no interview waiting channel to understand whether or not we're going to interview anybody. But maybe we'll look at that for future races. But it's been a fantastic one today here. Lots of action, lots of overtakes, and great to have you all here in chat. Thank you everybody who's commented and liked. But yeah, another fantastic racing. Looking forward to the rest of this season. It should be a banger.